Hello everyone, this is Pilpo and welcome back to my Productive Bees guide for All the Mods 9. So in the last part we did go over the basics and now we're going to go over a few of the more difficult parts of Productive Bees. So to get us started, the next machine on my list is a bottler. So the bottler and the gene indexer, these two right here are the sort of mad scientist machines. That's what I would call them. So first off, the bottler is kind of not a mad scientist machine. You could use this for another means. If you put a bottler next to a centrifuge of any type, so in this case, we've got three centrifuges. Let's get some bottles real quick. I kind of thought that the honey, I think the honey is supposed to go into the bottler right here. I think it was meant to. It used to, at least. Let me put it over here as well. Ah, there we go. For some reason it does not want to go off the powered centrifuge right there. But if I were to put the bottler right next to the heated centrifuge we've got right here, you can see right there, it's using the honey that it's got in these centrifuges. So every time a honey comb is used, it does produce some honey as well. Here, like this, you'll see 50 millibuckets of honey is created each time. So that's what that's doing right there. And what this is doing is it's just bottling all of that honey that you get into honey bottles, just like that. Now, another use for this is for bee murder. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. That's what it kind of is, right? So, if you were to put some bottles in this, and you put a piston above this, just like that. So there's a piston in there, pointed down, and we give this a redstone signal. So let's get a lever. Just like that. If we were to do that, there you go, you can see that the lever will, or the piston will go down. Whatever's in there will be squished. So let's grab the adult redstone bee that we had a second ago. I'm just going to break that for now. And what I'm going to do is, first off, I want to put some bottles in here. We want to bottle the squished bee that we produce right here. So I'm going to stick that there, and then there we go. Poor bee, it just got squished into this bottle right here, and that produces a bottle of squished bee material. Now what you do with this squished bee material is you stick it through a centrifuge. So I'm going to stick it through one of the ones that's not full up. Let's do the slow one. No, you know what? Let's do this one right here. And there we go. We get a bunch of different genes out of this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this thing called the gene indexer. I'm just going to do something like that. This thing is just a big chest for genes. But if you give it a redstone signal, like this, what it will do is, if you've got multiple things of genes, so for example, if we had loads of this gene sample redstone, and I don't know, we had 15 of these at 28% each, it will combine them together until they are at 100%. Now, this is super useful because when a gene sample is at 100%, you can add it to a honey treat. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the bee in there. We're going to get some more squished bee material. I am going to quickly put that through here, just so I can show you what happens over here. So if I stick all of these in, you can see that they try to combine with each other. They don't always... Oh, that one can't combine because it's passive and normal. But they do try to combine with each other right there. I'm going to have to do that again, I think. So what I'll do is that. And what we're looking to do is get ourselves a 100% gene sample so we can use that on another bee. So if we do that, did that get us any 100%? Don't think so. Oh, 100% diurnal. Now this is actually a really bad trait to have. It's not bad, it's just not great. So what we can do here is if we combine the treat with the diurnal right there, we can now give this diurnal behavior to a bee. Now it's going to be quite hard for us to find a bee that doesn't have diurnal because all of these have got diurnal. And I believe all of these will have it as well. Yep, that's true. Okay, I squished a few more bees so we could try that again. Have we got any more 100%? This one's actually decent. The high productivity right there, it's actually not a bad trait to get. So what we will do is we will try and put this high productivity treat on another bee. Now to do that, we are going to need to use the bee incubator, the baby incubator. And in this example, this one's already got productivity high. This one's only got normal. So what we'll do is we'll pop this one in here. You can see it says productivity normal. I think it works even though it's a child. It does work, perfect. And we need to leave this until it's finished. And this redstone bee will get the productivity of high. Now, previously you could just right click the honey tree onto the bee when it was out in the world. But for some reason that's not working right now. I don't know if it's a bug, pun intended, or what. But I think it might be that they want you to use the incubator right here. So we can see right there that this now has productivity high. Now you can also use this. So if I grab, I've got any redstone 100%, perfect. So if I do that and that, we've got redstone 100%. Stick that in with an egg, just a regular old Minecraft egg. And after a certain amount of time, you will get yourself a redstone spawn egg. Redstone bee spawn egg right there. So this might be quite useful. You might need it for a few things. So you can see right here, if you want to make the energetic alloy bee, you can do that. The redstone alloy bee, you can do that as well. You do need the redstone bee spawn egg in the first place, and the only way you can really get that in All the Mods 9 is by doing the method I just showed you with the honey treat and an egg. There is capturing, which is a sword enchant, but this is the main way to do it. So another thing is, well, you need it if you want to make the nitro crystal bees from power. You can use an obsidian bee on a redstone bee to get a flux dust bee. I didn't realize that's how you did that. So speaking of traits, if we have a look at the traits you can get on this prismarine bee that I've just caught. The reason I got a prismarine bee, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 specific things on there. There's productivity, weather tolerance, behavior, endurance, and temper. In my opinion, you could basically just ignore the endurance and the temper right there. So especially if you use simulation upgrades, which we'll go over in a minute about upgrades. But yeah, the 3 that you want to focus on here are productivity, weather tolerance, and behavior. So what productivity means is like how many like combs do you get, and how quickly do they produce combs. I think that's how it is. I think it's how many combs you get. Weather tolerance is if it's like raining, then bees will not actually produce anything. They'll just basically stop. And you've also got behavior there. So diurnal means daytime. They work during the day. There is nocturnal, which means they work only during the night, which means they don't work during the day. And diurnal here means they work during the day and they don't work at night. So there is another one for the behavior there. So that's metaternal, which is they work
through the daytime and the nighttime. So Metaternal is the thing that you need. Now to get the best 3 out of those right there, so the best productivity, the best weather tolerance, and the best behavior, you first off, for productivity, you need to make yourself a beehive nest or a bee nest helmet right here. So what this does is when you are attacked, I should probably get a Skelling Bob and we'll get ourselves attacked a little bit. So if I stick, I'll set up a little trap for myself right here, and I'll put the nest on. It looks really funny as well. Right, there we go. We've got ourselves a captured skeleton right there. I'm going to change myself to this game mode. Okay. There we go. There is a kamikaze bee. So what happens there is the bee, the kamikaze bee, will pop out of my helmet that I've got right here, and it will fly towards something to like try and kill it. So in this case, it's going to try and kill the skeleton bee. It does kill itself though, that's the only issue. And it's only a 30% chance for it to happen. So, still waiting for this to... Okay, the skeleton's not going to do it, I don't think. Why is your aim so bad? There we go. There is Kamikaze Bee. There we go. Right, now we can get away from this guy. I can put this back on. So, the Kamikaze Bee has the productivity of very high. So yeah, you are going to want to get yourself like a bunch of Kamikaze Bees. And once you've got loads and loads of them, you can actually come over here and squish bee material them. Just like this. And I can use this over here to get myself... Where is it? Where's the very high? There it is. Very high gene sample. So, kamikaze bees, they cannot breed amongst themselves, so you can't do anything with that. However, prismarine bees, right here, you can breed these amongst themselves, so you can just have a bee upgrade or a baby upgrade. We will go over that in a bit, but... Oh, hello. There's a prismarine. Didn't mean to set you free, but there you are, you're free. But yeah, the prismarine bee is super useful because if you were to capture it using, so if I click on this, it is one of those that you need to fish for a while, and then you'll get a prismarine bee. So, little tip for that, if it's raining and you're in a boat and you're fishing, you have a higher chance of actually getting a bee. So just keep that in mind if you're going for prismarine bees. Prismarine bees have a weather tolerance of any, so very useful. This one doesn't because I spawned it in using the spawn egg. So that is how you get yourself a productivity of very high, weather tolerance of any, meaning it would work all of the time, no matter what the weather is. The behavior, to do that, what you want to do is, if you get yourself a lead, and where did that prismarine bee go? Because what we'll do is we'll capture that. In fact, it doesn't matter, we've got another one right here. Come here, come here, thank you. So what you do is you keep the prismarine, or you keep any bee, whatever bee it is, as long as it's got traits. So I know that the bees from regular Minecraft don't have any traits, but just take any productive bees bee, and if you get yourself a fence post, make sure this is outside, just like that. Make sure it's outside, make sure it's got like access to, you know, empty sky above it. Leave it for a while and keep coming back to check on it. And what you would probably want to do is bring some honey treats and heal them up. When it is raining out and about, or when it goes to a thunderstorm, sometimes the like traits for each of the bees change. So you could potentially get a nocturnal bee, especially because this one here can't get to a nest. So it's stuck outside all of the time. It does take damage every so often, so you might want to heal them up with some honey treats. But other than that, yeah, leave them outside for a while and they will get themselves a meternal behavior. So that's all 3 of the different best traits. If I were to get a few of the really high traits that we've got, so we've got weather tolerance, none. We've got one high there. I just wanted to prove, there you go, passive. These 2 don't really matter, but if we get a honey treat, just like this, you can put both of the traits on the same treat. So what you would potentially do right there is you'd have very high Metaternal and any for the tolerance, all on one treat, and then you can use that to basically make yourself super bees. If you do that a lot and you set up a setup where you can just squish loads of bees and get loads of the genes out of those bees, then you can get basically super bees for everything. Just a quick tip for you. If you get yourself a honey treat with very high any and Metaternal, and you put, well, if you can try and get 2 of those, put it on 2 bees that you know breed together really well. So if you get 2 iron bees, for example, put very high any Metaternal on those iron bees. You can set up a breeding chamber, one of these, to produce loads and loads of baby iron bees, which you can then feed into a baby incubator. When they are adult bees, you can spit them out into one of these squishing thingies over here. So put them into where the piston is, right here. That will squish them, turn them into squish bee material. You can have a like vacuum hopper or something, pull that into a centrifuge. The centrifuge will then make a bunch of genes. The genes will then be sent to a gene indexer, and then you can have lots and lots and lots of very high any and Metaternal genes just from 2 iron bees with the traits. So that was very complicated, but hopefully most of you understood that. If not, I do that in my ATM9 series, which is going to be linked in the description of this video. So I'm now getting back round to the different upgrades you can get for the beehive. So if we do at productive bees, actually I'll just do at productive upgrades. Now to start off, you are going to want to get a ton of upgrade bases, which is some honey treats. You need a good source of emeralds and a good source of diamonds for this, and some sticks. Each one of these upgrades that you see right here do require this upgrade base, so just keep that in mind. So the first one on the list is the Alpha Productivity Upgrade. This increases production output of bees in this hive by 120%. Multiple upgrades can be installed for greater increase. So you could put 4 of these in and you'll get a better increase. I'm not exactly sure if it's multiplicative or additive. So if you were going to only get 1 honeycomb, you get 120% more honeycomb, which is, I think, 1 extra, so you get 2 with a chance at getting 3. You got like a 20% chance at that point to getting 3. My maths could be completely off, so I apologize, but I'm sure people in the comments can tell me what the actual percent chance is right there. So that one there is the Alpha Productivity Upgrade. That's the first one that you make. This used to be the only productivity upgrade, but they've introduced Beta, Omega, or Gamma and Omega right there. So for this one, you do need these Draconic chunks. So you do want to go and get yourself some Draconic bees, if you can. Draconic bees you find in the end. I would definitely suggest trying to get some Draconic bees. Actually, if I show you Draconic bees, they require a dragon egg as their pollinating flower. So
just like we've got over here with the redstone, they, instead of redstone, require a dragon egg. Now you can put it in the feeding upgrade, and you can actually use a beehive on each face of this. So we can have a beehive right here. So in fact, I'll show you that right now. So oak beehive expansion box. And we can also do another one right here. So oak beehive expansion box and another one right here. So oak beehive and expansion box. Now imagine that one in there is a dragon egg. You've got this one right here with some draconic bees in there. This one with draconic bees, this one with draconic bees, this one with draconic bees. All of them in there would mean that you would have like 4 times the amount of draconic dust being generated. So I will come back to the other productivity upgrades in a bit. I just wanted to talk about these ones. So the speed upgrade means that the bees stay in their hive less time. So if they're in there for, let's say, between 2 and 3 minutes, then they will be in there for like 1.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes instead. So there is that. This does, like, if we put like 4 of these in, they will like barely be in there at all, which is kind of good for some instances, but it's mainly used, well, the speed upgrades in my opinion are mainly used for the machines that we've got. So yeah, I wouldn't. There are some instances where I say use a speed upgrade. We talked about the baby upgrade. We talked about the not baby upgrade with the catcher. The block upgrade right here. Now this one is quite interesting. It changes the produced output to comb blocks instead of honeycombs. So you could think about this as a 4 times speed upgrade, or 4 times upgrade to the output. So it's actually better to make one of these than it is to make one of these, because this doesn't give you, what is it, 400% or 300%? I don't know how you do the maths there, but this gives you 3 more combs each time a honeycomb is produced. So really, really good upgrade, this one right here. We've got the anti-teleportation. So the ender bee, I think this one here is literally just for the ender bee. Unless there's another bee that teleports, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. This one just prevents the bees from just teleporting away, because they do get really annoying when you build them a nice little cage like this, and they decide to just zip off somewhere. So that might be useful. I don't really use the ender bees other than for breeding, if I'm honest. So I would normally go and find another way of getting ender pearls that isn't using the ender bees, but to each their own, eh? You might want to set everything up using bees, and if that's the case, you might need an anti-teleportation upgrade for your ender bees. The range upgrade right here is actually not used for this either. We've got the filter upgrade. So right click. I don't know if this is used in, you know what, let's have a go. Oh, we can put it in here. That means that if we were to right click on a redstone bee, only redstone bees can come into this advanced oak beehive right here. I believe that's how that works. Next up on the list, we've got the upgrade Pokey Pokey Gene Sampler. So the gene samples that we had over here, where we were doing squishing, we can actually produce those from these bees right here. If we put the Pokey Pokey Gene Sampler in, slowly extracts genes from visiting bees, totally not hurting them in the process. Multiple upgrades can be installed for a greater chance. So what we could do is we could put like an absolute ton of these in, like that. And when these bees pop out, which will take them a little bit. Oh, there we go. They just popped out. It looks like we didn't get any gene samples right there. But there is a chance that you get one of like these little samples. Now, the last one on the list is actually my favorite, and that is the simulation or the simulator upgrade. So this is where the bees just never come out of their hives ever again. So we can actually put that one in right there, like that. These bees will never pop out again at all, unless you take this simulation upgrade out. But what that means is, if you're playing on a server, bees actually take up quite a lot of the usages per tick. So they're quite, well, they can cause quite a bit of lag. They're entities like walking about, right? Just like mob farms and stuff, they are really hard on a server. So I really like the simulation upgrade. It also means that you don't have to like box in your bees. We can get rid of this. I'm going to put a simulation upgrade in this one. I can't remember if that works, if this one here would work, but fingers crossed. Oh, there we go. We just got a productive bees gene sample right there, just from these here. Now, these didn't pop out or anything, and it did produce some honeycomb, but they didn't pop out because of the simulation upgrade. As I said before, you do need to put like something in front of this. So in this case, the redstone. That is in the feeding slab. It could just be where this feeding slab is, but yeah. So simulation upgrade, super good, really good for servers, and that's going to bring us back around to the beta upgrades. So, didn't mean to click that. So we have a look at the beta upgrade. So the beta upgrade, that is a higher percent chance. This one, the alpha upgrade, is only a 120% of a multiplier. This one is a 150% of a multiplier. Now you can always stack these up. So in this case, we could have like, instead of the Pokey upgrades, we have these ones, the productivity upgrades. So as you see there, that gave us 3. The next time these came around to give us some combs, it should give us more than 3 at least. It should give us at least 6 or 7. Maybe 8 or 9. But if we were to use these instead, just like that, we would get, I think it's additively, so that would be 450%. So whatever 3 times 450 is, 50%. That's how much we would get. Maths is not really my strong suit today, so I apologize if I'm butchering any of these, which I probably am. Anyway, we've got the gamma upgrade as well. So this one is, well, first off, you need to use 4 of the beta upgrades. But it comes with a built-in simulation upgrade. How cool is that? So we definitely want that. So I'm going to put that in instead of the simulation upgrade. In fact, I'm going to replace all of them with the gammas right here. Now that's really good because that means that you get, first off, a higher percent, which is 200%. Plus, you get the simulation upgrade, so we don't even need a simulation upgrade in there. And then finally, there's the Omega upgrade. So this is 260%. And if we have a look at the recipe right here, it does require one of these block upgrades, but it also adds the block upgrade to the arsenal of effects that it's got, which is insane. So if we put all of these in here, this should produce like a really good amount of combs when this finally decides to pop. Plus, it also acts as a simulator upgrade as well. So we got the simulator and the block upgrade and the production upgrade all in one upgrade right there. Cool. Right, that was quite a lot of explanation on all of the different machines and all of the different upgrades and everything. So I thought I'd just quickly go over some of the different bees that are super important to get and some advice on bees that I don't think are worth it. So there are a few bees that, yeah, definitely not worth it to get. Well, there's a time investment involved and yeah, that time investment is not worth it. So first off, I highly recommend that you get yourself a good amount of regular bees. Just get yourself loads of regular bees. Yeah, honeycombs and honey bottles, just honey in general, becomes such a commodity. If we have a look at the Omega upgrade, and we go all the way down to the alpha upgrade right here. So for one omega upgrade, you need 4 of the gamma upgrades, which also require 4 of the beta upgrades, which also require 4 of the alpha upgrades, and that's each. So if we want to make one gamma upgrade, we do need 4 beta upgrades, and 4 beta upgrades require 4 alpha, meaning that we need 16 alpha upgrades to make one gamma upgrade, meaning we need a stack of alpha upgrades to get ourselves an omega upgrade. Plus we need Heart of the Seas. Luckily in All the Mods 9 you've got like the mystical agriculture way of doing it. You've also got the Deepling Brutes, and apparently the Leviathan also drops the Heart of the Seas, which is quite useful. You can always use antimatter as well on some nether stars to get them, but this one here is relatively easy to do. So the reason that I said get regular bees is purely because you need so many combs, a ridiculous amount of combs, if anything. So yeah, keep an eye on that. So if you need a stack of these, you need 4 stacks of honeycombs, honeycomb blocks. Yeah, which means that's 4 stacks of regular combs. So 4 times 4, flipping heck. Yeah, loads. You need loads of combs just to make one omega upgrade. I'm actually going to put an omega upgrade in here. See how many we get out of this. I'm going to put 4 in there actually. That's what I have done with all of my bees on my ATM 9 series. So I wanted to do that as well. There you go. Ah, there you go. You can see right there that has produced a lot of redstone combs right there. So we can do that. That is going to probably fill this all the way up with stuff. Amazing. You can have an importer on this, by the way, and it would import into the system. Anyway, so yeah, the regular bees, definitely I'd suggest going for those. The draconic bees, highly recommend you get some draconic bees. In fact, never mind, I was going to say save your first dragon egg for your draconic bees, but you don't need to do that anymore because the More Dragon Eggs mod has been added to the pack recently. So you can get more than 1 dragon egg, you just kill the dragon multiple times. I still highly recommend that you get loads and loads of draconic bees, at least 5, and you fill at least 1 of the beehives with 5 draconic bees. For that, I suggest going to the end and then just taking loads of bee cages, grabbing as many of them as you can, bringing them back to the overworld and placing them in with the dragon egg in the feeding slab. So the next one I suggest is the skulk bee. So skulk bee, you take some skulk, which you can find in the deep dark. Use a silk touch pickaxe or silk touch whatever. Get yourself some skulk. And you just right click that onto a digger bee. So we found a digger bee earlier. Just right click it on there. And you get yourself a skulk bee. Now the reason I suggest a skulk bee is because, well, first off you also need a shrieker, so make sure you pick one of those up whilst you're getting your skulk. But the reason is the skulk combs, it looks like you always get a skulk comb. I didn't realise that, but that's quite good. They give you a 30% chance to get an echo shard, and wow, as you can see, I'm kind of going through all of the different bees that you need for the omega upgrades, because using omega upgrades everywhere definitely helps, let's just say that. Next up I'd say is like diamond and emerald and iron, all of the regular resources. Definitely redstone. Redstone can be kind of difficult to get in this pack, but yeah, just some of the basic bees. Even if you think, oh, I probably don't need like loads and loads of redstone, I'd still suggest just setting up a hive with 5 redstone bees and just letting it go for a while. With the simulation upgrade, well, wow, 4 omega upgrades if you can. Now there's a couple of bees that I haven't actually done myself, but I've been told that it was not worth doing, and that is the amber bee. Amber bee, there it is. this one right here, you can get the spawn egg for it by using a brush in a cold ocean ruin. Interesting. So if you find yourself a cold ocean ruin, and you know what? We'll go try and find one of these. There it is. There's a suspicious gravel right there, so we can... Is that a dust? Are we going to get any? No, we're not going to get a gold nugget from that. Oh well. Yeah, the amber bee. What the amber bee does, will seek out and encase mobs in amber, dooming them to a life in suspended animation. It's quite an interesting sort of idea, but you can basically use the amber bee along with another bee, which is the wanna bee, which is this one right here, wannabe, which looks really good, to be fair. This one, you need a bunch of different bees and the music disc and echo shards and stuff. Yeah, you need to craft this one up, and what this one will do, has a thing for trapped mobs. Provide it with an amber encased mob to safely extract the drops. So you could technically encase a wither. You can encase a wither with this, with the amber, and then you can use, again, just in the same sort of way that we've set up this, the wither would be like right in this block right here in the amber. And then you can have wannabes in each one of these, feeding off of the wither, and it will produce loads of wither drops, which is kind of useful. But I've heard that it's a right pain to get loads and loads of wannabes, so, and it just wasn't worth setting up. You can get as much stuff out of it as you want. Although looking at it, it doesn't say that it doesn't breed amongst itself. So maybe once you got the one, if you use a baby upgrade, you can breed lots and lots of wannabes. Other bees of note. I almost forgot to mention, because a lot of people struggle with this, how you get a, well, first off, a zombie. No one really wants the zombie. It's the skeletal bee, which I can't seem to find in here. But the way that you get skeletal bees is just like this. Let's grab one of these, stick it up there. Why is this place light? That's weird. Anyway, if we were to put a advanced oak beehive right there with an expansion box, maybe another one next to it. If we were to leave this for a while, I probably should have set one of these up before we started this guide. But if we leave that down there, make sure it's in darkness for a while. You could even leave it on the surface and wait for it to go dark. But if you leave it in darkness for a while, you've got a chance at getting either a skeletal bee or a zombie. So you do need a skeletal bee later on. Skeletal bee, there it is. Thank you. You need this later on because for bee breeding purposes, you need it for... Oh, I swear you needed it for some reason. Ah, here we go. You need it because you give it a wither rose and it turns into the withered bee, and then you can use the withered bee with an ancient bee to get Allthemodium, get an Allthemodium bee. Now again, the Allthemodium bee does require Allthemodium block to produce Allthemodium combs, like right here, but the Allthemodium combs do produce quite a lot of Allthemodium, especially if you've got Omega upgrades and you've got 5 Allthemodium bees. And then the same with Vibranium and Unobtainium. They require a block of Vibranium and a block of Unobtainium. But that's basically all you need, is one block of each. And then you've got infinite of that resource if you've got the bee set up for it. Which is what I did for my Unobtainium, Vibranium, and Allthemodium. So the last bee that I want to talk about is the Sussy bee. Now, what the Sussy bee is a bee that will produce sussy gravel, or sus gravel. Suspicious, sorry. People only say sus because they don't know how to spell suspicious. And I'm one of those people, so I don't know how to spell it, if I'm honest. I'm a bad speller. Anyway, yeah, the way that you get the Sussy bee is you actually need a sniffer egg, and you need to hatch a sniffer. Now the sniffer will walk around and just uncover. It does the little dig animation, doesn't it? In fact, let's get a sniffer. Here we go. One of these bad boys. They are huge. Now, this sniffer will sniff around, obviously, and eventually starts doing the sniff sniff, and it will dig, and you might get a sussy bee egg, spawn egg right here. In fact, if you look up usage, you could get sussy bee spawn egg. And you can get grave dust. I didn't realize you could get grave dust from this. Interesting. But yeah, the only thing that the sussy bee does is it turns gravel and sand into, sus gravel and sus sand. Only problem is, at least from what I found recently, is you need to have the bees do it in an area where there was already some sus gravel and sus sand. So, for example, where we went to that ocean monument, we could go down there, make a little air bubble, set up some sussy bees, and they could fly around and make all of that gravel into sus gravel, and we could sweep that out. I should probably mention that it does not work on the sussy clay that we've got in All the Mods 9. That is because it was added by the All the Mods team, so yeah, it just doesn't work with the bee, unfortunately. So you can't use it to get more smithing templates. I don't think. I haven't tested, to be fair, in a while. So anyway, this is where I'm probably going to end the episode, or the guide, let's say. If there's anything that I missed, anything that you guys think, oh, this is really useful, and you know, there's a bee that you think is particularly good, let me know what your favourite bee is out of all of the bees and why it's sussy bee. Yeah, let me know in the description. I do have a ATM9 server up and running right now. If you want to get access to that, then have a look in the description of this video. There's going to be a Patreon link right there. The Patreon is there to just support the server itself. So we use the money from that to host a bunch of servers, not just ATM9. And yeah, anyway, this is where I'm going to end it. So thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.